That's the one organization that I can think of in my 40 years doing this that you didn't get information out of. If you did, it was really, really rare. The Patriot Way, nobody said anything. Nobody spoke out of school. Now, all of a sudden, Bill Belichick is gone, and they're open for business. Now you're picking sides on what was going on with Belichick and Robert Kraft and his son. Also, the quarterbacking position with Mac Jones. He seems to be used as a pawn there. Bill didn't want him. The Kraft family got more and more involved. And then Belichick is the guy who said to the Kraft family, let's move on from Tom. He can't play anymore. And then Tom wins the Super Bowl. And then Robert Kraft reportedly says to Bill Belichick, I thought you told me he can't play anymore. He won a bleeping Super Bowl. But Bill Belichick was cleaning out his office just a couple of days after the loss to the Jets. But it feels like there's a whole lot more that went on there in the last decade. And it felt like the Kraft family was taking more control. And it wasn't a question of if, but when Bill Belichick was going to leave. All right, poll question. What do you have, Seton, for the first hour of this program?
Who would you rather have coach your NFL team? Bill Belichick or Jim Harbaugh?
Now, I know you're simplifying that, but it's not as simple because if you said Jim Harbaugh is going to coach Justin Herbert and the Chargers, or Bill Belichick was, I would take Jim Harbaugh. If you said the Dallas Cowboys, Jim Harbaugh or Bill Belichick, I'd say Bill Belichick.
How about the Atlanta Falcons?
So Harbaugh interviews with the Falcons. Bill Belichick interviews with the Falcons. If I would have said that at the beginning of the year, hey, the Falcons, they're going to have a coaching vacancy. And I would have said, okay. Oh, you know who they're going to interview? Bill Belichick and Jim Harbaugh. Now, Harbaugh, I'd go, okay, because he's been trying to get back into the NFL. But for Belichick and the juicy irony of he's now going to coach the Falcons, then I would say, no, that's not happening. But here we are. And the Falcons are swinging for the fences. Arthur Blank is, going after the biggest names, see if he can reel one in, because he's another owner who almost won a Super Bowl. He's been closer than Jerry Jones has. He's got everything, but he doesn't have anything. He's always on the sidelines. He's ready to celebrate, and then, no, crushing. But now he's swinging for the fences. You're not bringing in a young offensive coordinator and Arthur Smith. Now you're going after big boys here. And I give him credit because he's got skilled position players. They have a nucleus here, and that's Belichick wants to get that team that is undervalued from the standpoint of just like when Brady went to the Buccaneers. I think we were surprised because we thought, well, he's going to go to a team that's sort of a 500 team. Well, he saw that they were far more than that, and they were further along than we thought. And maybe Belichick and Jim Harbaugh look at the Falcons and go, okay, we just have to get a quarterback. Well, that's how all these coaches lost their jobs because they didn't have a quarterback. That's what I love about the Chargers job. I have my quarterback. He's under contract. Can I look at free agency and go, okay, who's out there? Who are you going to get? And that's the tricky part with all of this. Who's my quarterback? That's why all of these jobs are open, except for the Chargers, because Brandon Staley just didn't do a good job managing that team. And he had his quarterback. Yeah, Paul.
If you were deciding between Belichick and Harbaugh, how much, if at all, would the age difference matter? There's an 11-year age difference.
Oh, yeah, that would matter because I don't know how long, Bill wants to coach for. I mean, is he going to coach for 3 years? Is he going to coach till he gets the record? Is he going to coach till, he gets deep into the playoffs? Harbaugh, I could see him maybe, a decade coaching, whether it's at Michigan and or the NFL. And I know that they're talking about Jim Harbaugh with this, hey, we're going to give him a 10-year deal. He's going to make $11.5 million. Well, that's not his final contract because he could be 2 years in and say, you know what? Yeah, I won another national championship. Now I really want to coach in the NFL. And he made a point to say after he won the national title, hey, I get to sit at the big boy table. His dad won a national championship and his brother won a Super Bowl. He won a national championship. But it still feels like, and this may be me kind of letting you into my world with my brothers, we're competitive.
Family dynamics like that are so funny.
I know. That's why when you go, wait, everybody should be happy. Yeah, there's competition. And if you're Jim Harbaugh and John won a Super Bowl, boy, it'd be nice to have a Super Bowl and a national championship, because then I get to sit at the head of the table. Jim's that competitive.
Then you could sit around and be like, I got to tell you, I can't tell which one was more difficult. I mean, they both come with unique challenges.
Or, I'm not sure which ring I'm going to wear today. Oh, John, you're wearing your Super Bowl ring. I'm going to wear the national championship. You know what? I'm going to put my Super Bowl ring on. Family dynamics there, the competition that's there, the ego that's there. That factors into all of this. Because Jim has done everything you would want, considering what has happened in, 9 years there at Michigan. Couldn't beat Ohio State. Got to beat Ohio State. Can't beat Ohio State. All right. Maybe you're not the guy. Maybe we're going to cut your salary here. Oh, wait a minute. You beat Ohio State. Oh, you beat them again. Oh, you're going to play for national. Oh, you won a national championship. And then Jim's taking the victory lap like, all right, I'm going to make you sweat a little bit here.
Cha-ching.
Yeah. Because he's going to get paid. The question is, and there's language in the contract, according to Dan Wetzel, of let's say something happens with the NCAA and Michigan wants to move on from Jim Harbaugh. He doesn't want to have the language in there that allows them to move on if it's NCAA related. Now, it could be performance related, but Jim, I think, is trying to protect himself. If he stays there, that he doesn't get fired if the sanctions come back and, they come down hard on Michigan. What other poll question do you have, Seton?
Well, whose future are you more curious about, Belichick's or Harbaugh's?
I would say Belichick, because I believe Harbaugh is going to go back to the NFL. It's not this time around. It'll be in a couple of years. Belichick to go to another team, that would be so bizarre to see him wearing somebody else's hoodie, carved up sweatshirt there on the sidelines.
How many games is he away?
15. Now, if he went to the Cowboys, then that would be mind-blowing, where you're going, oh, my God, he's coaching the Cowboys and maybe gets them to a Super Bowl and surpasses Don Shula's all-time record. So I would say, Bill, just because I never thought we would get to this day. Harbaugh, I'm not surprised. And won't be surprised. I won't be surprised if he goes back. And I won't be surprised if he goes to the NFL. I think it's more of the job that you would take to leave Michigan. And I would stay at Michigan. But I get it with these coaches. It feels like the NFL has more stability than college does. And it used to be these control freaks. That's why Nick Saban's like, transfer portal, NIL. You don't want to deal with that. And they didn't have to deal with that for decades. Because it was like, let's just pay some players under the table. We'll get the best players we can get. Now, you could probably use that response for a lot of coaches. But, hey, let's stockpile players on scholarship. Hey, we can do that. And that's what happened. It was, you were able to control everything. Now you can't control anything because that kid has all the leverage. Imagine you're a freshman. You rush for, 1,200 yards. You go to one of these big-time coaches and you go, yeah, I don't know. I'd like to stay. But, I'd like to redo my deal. That's what's going on right now.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So you got these guys, big-time coaches are like, you got to be kidding me. Their thought bubbles as they're sitting there with this kid, 19 years of age, just rushed for 1,200 yards, projected to be a first-rounder in a couple of years. Yeah. I like to redo my deal.
Again, the coaches are like, wait a minute. You can't redo your deal after one good season. Yeah. You're going to redo your deal. That's not how it works. This is a contract. Oh.
But that's the headache that you have with college football, or at least these guys who already have that mindset of, we control everything here. And then you don't control anything. And I could see where that, Nick Saban left because of that. Reggie Bush was with us yesterday, and he said he firmly believes NIL. That's one of the reasons. That's why you have to have young, energetic coaches who can deal with the transfer portal. They can deal with NIL. They understand this is the new way of doing business. And that's where I want to see how long it's sustainable for Deion at Colorado. Because he basically said that he opened everybody's eyes to this. He said, this is what's going on now. Let's not kid anybody. It's about the transfer portal and what I can do for you and you can do for me, and we're in business together.